Hi, everyone, and welcome back. Tom Slivick with Supervisor John Plasse. John, nice for you to join me today.
Thank you, Tom.
You know, we're going to get in the agenda. You said it was kind of short, so maybe we can start off just a little bit with a couple news stories. First off, our first news story was the transit director.
Yes.
Okay, we're going to have a meeting tomorrow?
Right, 7:30 a.m. special meeting tomorrow to consider the transit director's salary and what we would advertise that salary position for, and whether or not she decides to stay as a result of that.
What do we have as a salary now for that, John?
Currently, the position is paid $72,500 a year plus some medical benefits and 5 weeks paid vacation. That's what Carla Meyer, our transit director, lobbied for at her last review, was no more money, but a little additional time. She has an elderly relative in the Northwest that she wanted more time for.
So this comes suddenly?
It did. Suddenly we got the notice that she was resigning, that she had tentatively accepted a job in Mendocino County at their transit authority down there. And upon research, it turns out that some of our personnel committee felt that we needed to increase the amount that we were offering for this position in light of her departure for more money, and yet where she's going to, or where she has proposed to go to, is a $4 million operation with 60 employees and 43 vehicles versus our $1.3 million operation with about 8 or 9 buses and 6 or 7
bigger
employees.
Challenge for her as well,
much
possibly.
bigger job, and reasonably asked for more money. But I'm not sure that we need to, in our size of operation, try to match that.
Sort of thing. Okay, that's great. It's time for us to take a break. When we come back, one more question, and then we'll get into the agenda. So stay with us right here on TSPN.
You're watching Amador County's local television network, TSPN.
Well, hi, everyone, and we're back. I'm going to first talk to you, John, about the fire fees. Okay, we've got a couple of measures that are trying to maybe repeal the fire fees, but not really. I guess they're trying to get out of the tax thing, but say, you know, we can only get rid of those if you give us the tax in another way. Right. And I don't think they maybe understand a lot of the argument. And the argument is that we're paying for the fire trucks and a lot of our own fire help up here in these communities, and if they start taking the money, we might not want to give them more money. And follow my
absolutely. Your report, the way it talked about how they don't want to repeal the fire tax unless they find another revenue replacement for it. Well, it was a revenue generator in and of itself, you know, a new revenue source that, if it's deemed unconstitutional, which it's likely to be.
Well, I think we have to stay on them about the language and things like that. About, you know, it's pretty hard to pull the maybe the wool over us, even though the wording was, you know, kind of put like that. And I guess the other one might be, well, we'll maybe have the insurance companies collect the money, and then the insurance companies can give us the money. So we have the government going backdoor through the insurance companies, running them to get more money.
That's what Chesbro's plan, the last one you mentioned in your report, is replacing the fire tax with a surcharge on everybody's homeowner insurance, which he's addressing the complaint that why should just rural communities be paying for these other revenue sources for CAL FIRE when they respond to mudslides and that sort of thing in Southern Cal. So I see where he's coming from.
And the whole state is already paying for CAL FIRE. So,
exactly.
You know.
Exactly.
Okay, well, let's move on to the agenda.
We have a very abbreviated agenda tomorrow at the board meeting. Really, first and foremost on our agenda is a report, a presentation from Sutter Gold Mining Company, and they did a study over the months of January and February of this year to ascertain the effects of their blasting, their blasting for their mining operations on the local community. They set up 4 different monitoring sites in and around Amador City, and one actually over in the reverse direction towards Sutter Creek. And we'll hear a presentation about the results of those monitoring sites. I believe
they were saying it was the air, possibly the cold air at the time, or the uniqueness of something.
They were saying that low cloud cover and that sort of overcast condition emphasizes or amplifies the effects of the blast. That was their presentation last time. That's one of my questions for tomorrow is, during this monitoring period, were there other days that had that similar condition involved in them or not? They said they recorded the weather conditions, but
Okay. And then I guess they would have to be asked, like, well, do we get this kind of weather often here, and that happened to?
Right. And how does it
and
affect
might
the
not,
residences in
and
the
I
area?
believe they might be going for decibel levels scientifically. As
Right.
well,
They
right?
sort of
So-
convert decibel levels into these overpressure readings, and overpressure is, according to their reporting, that's what you and I feel and hear when sound
Well,
is
I hope
generated.
all things go well, because I think we could use some more gold, and also, it's good for the county monetarily wise to have those
Exactly.
jobs. What's up next?
We also have something up that we're going to hear a report from our CAO. This was something that I brought up during our budget discussion last week, and we have an account that is called the Post-Retirement Health Plan Trust. Some of our employees have the benefit of receiving health care in retirement. Just a few of them in the sheriff's office, and I believe the deputy district attorney's unit has this benefit in their contract. Well, we've got to fund that benefit, because these people are going to be retired and still receiving a portion of their health benefits in retirement, ostensibly until the day they die. And we were required to fund that. I believe 3 years ago was the first funding that we put into it. From a budget standpoint, we have to commit dollars to go into that fund, so the fund builds into a size large enough to be able to pay those benefits in retirement. And we did it 3 years ago, and we have not paid into that fund in the last 2 years. So my question to our CAO was, where are we in terms of the increase in value in that fund? And just let's not get ourselves in an unfunded liability position of
Okay, I guess that
tantamount
gives
to
me, I could
PERS.
possibly ask a question then. Is the budget set yet?
No, it's still being
Okay.
fine-tuned and manipulated. We saw the presentation last week, I believe it was. We asked questions such as the one I just mentioned and others, and now it's up to the CAO to respond to those questions and make whatever budget adjustments are necessary to arrive at a balanced budget.
Okay. Anything
So-
else?
That's about it for our agenda tomorrow. A few closed session items and minutes, and we'll be
Maybe I'll
done
get
early.
your take on a thing, a few seconds. Upcountry, we have the closing of possibly the, Payless IGA market.
I've heard.
The name. Private entity that would like to sell the market, and it seems that people would like to stop that. Interesting. Is your take? If you'd care to.
I'd be happy to. I've actually weighed in on it in the email communications of late, and my core position is it's private business. If a private business person wants to sell their business, just as if you wanted to sell this station, you've got every right to sell that business, and it's not up to the community to say, but we want or we need or whatever. It's up to the free market to address. If there's bona fide needs up there, then the free market will fill those needs with a new business offering the kinds of services and goods that they claim they need.
Another thing interesting to me is they say, well, maybe we're not really talking to the owner, we're talking to the buyer. I think as a businessman, ex-businessman, you would probably say when you interfere with any side of the sale,
That's right.
You're treading on both.
What are you
sides,
doing to
right?
the seller, the man you claim to be supporting? What are you doing to him when you're
very-
trying to kill his escrow
Could very well
by
hurt
intimidating the potential
person
buyer?
that you feel has helped you all these years with
Absolutely.
the groceries and working so
Absolutely.
hard for your community.
And you know what? If it was, I don't know, I'd have to say that if that many people, we always hear about the population up country, if that many people were patronizing that business with the frequency that
Well,
they seem to
you still
indicate they
might-
do,
you
it would be a hugely profitable business.
There you go.
And-
Someone who would want to buy it would probably want to leave it alone. Okay.
Absolutely.
Anyway, we'll be taking a break, and I'll be back with more news on the other side of the break. Thanks, John.
Thanks, Tom.
You're watching Amador County's #1 news and sports leader, TSPN.